when we draw anatomy, the first thing that comes to mind is how right it is, right? So for example, the head, we draw the guidelines, and most of the time, well, in my experience, people focus on how right it is in a 2D way. So like for example, the length of this arm is right in a 2D manner, the neck is right in a 2D manner, the face is the proper size in the 2D manner, and so when they draw poses, they just move it around like rag dolls, like this, ta-da, because I'm not saying that's how they do it. I'm just saying their mind is working like this is the 2D measurement, so I have to follow it strictly when I draw, and it will the reason like this is no, this is just number one of the reasons it might look flat. I'm not saying that this is how people work. This is just number one. I'm saying it from experience. So to fix this, we will have perspective. But even with perspective, you can still find the flat drawing. So like this, for example. So you look at it from up here because she's far away. And let's say we adjust it. So we have the perspective here, but people might still be using the flat measurements, like the flat, like the 2D guidelines, making this look like a 2D cardboard print that's on the floor. Okay, I think so I'm actually just going through the phases I went to when I am studying anatomy, and this is like the number two phase. I learned perspective, but it was still flat. So the third thing that fixed it mostly is drawing in 3D, because we are drawing in 2D. And you want it to look like 3D, you have to draw it in 3D. But even so, when we draw it in 3D, it can still look flat. Because for example, if I fix this, I do this, I have the impression that I'm looking at the front of it. Like this is my eyes, and I'm looking at the person's front, like this, instead of like the person as a whole. You get what I mean? So this is the person. You should be looking at the whole person, not just at like the front, like this. So if you start looking at the whole person, you will get a new perspective, which is a mix of perspective and 3D. So here we have just like the right proportions. And when you mix perspective and 3D, things will start clashing. For example, the shoulder, it will start clashing with the body that you've created, because the shoulder becomes a 3D ball. The shoulder, not everyone draws the shoulder as a 3D ball. I also don't really recommend it, but like this is like just a tutorial. Okay. There's also a ball here that when you draw guidelines before, it's like this, right? But now that we're drawing in 3D, the ball will clash with the body and the arms as well, because before we just do this, but your arm is a separate shape. It's a separate cylinder, and it will clash with the ball, and you will have to adjust it so that they are not clashing together, like they are not glitching, because they have their own flesh and bones inside. They have their own matter. So when you start doing this, you will get like an awareness on where the objects are. So for example, this is the human chest. When a girl like hugs herself, for example, when a girl hugs herself, she has to go over her chest and then go back in like this. But when a guy does it, they're flat, right? He doesn't have to. It can be like this. So you will have this awareness, like how the objects shouldn't be colliding. Like there is a front, there is a back. You got what I mean? Hold on. I don't know. Wait. No, it's fine. So when you draw the neck, the face is in the back. See? The face is in the back because this is the neck and the face is behind it. When you draw in a different POV, this is the face and the neck is behind it and the body is below it. Right now we're drawing from an angle from below, so the body is overlapping the neck and the neck is seen above, like in front of the face. But if we draw it from this POV, we see the face first and then the neck comes below it, and sometimes we don't even see the neck because we're like super high up, so we just see the rest of the body. So when we draw from a high angle, for example, like this, wait, like this, and for example you're drawing it from the back like this, you can see the back, slightly bulging like this because of the posture, and then it goes all the way down here. So in front it's just like this. In front this is what it looks like, but on top this is what it looks like. I get this type of I don't know how to explain the imaginary vision of this, but this is like a mixture of this three. So I'm using the right proportion, the right size of the head, I mean in my art style, then perspective. So I'm looking from upwards like this. This is the perspective I'm using. Ta-da! So it's like going down. And then I'm using 3D. So I'm putting shapes on top of each other and then going down. Ta-da! Okay, but this is just making the anatomy look more popping out, like making it look more right. So, make me. But anyways, okay. So now our body is looking much more real and much more like a real. I mean, not our body. Our guideline is looking more popped out. So when you draw clothes, it will be easier for you to make it look realistic. So since the chest is like up, the folds are being pulled up. See, like that. So if this was a shirt, the folds are being pulled up from there, and then the shoulders are like this because it's folding like this. You get what I mean? So the things will be like that, and then I don't know. Things will just be easier for you to work around with when the guideline is 3D. But if you look at my speed paints, you might not find a fully drawn 3D model like this, because I got used to thinking about this in my head. Like the model is in my head, so when I draw, I skip some parts and just start drawing. But this is because of experience. I've been drawing for like tons of years. So you don't have to worry about getting to that point where you don't have to do this part yet, because I was at the point where I have to do this part always. Anyways, where am I? Where am I? Oh, okay. Okay, the first three steps are done. This is like the kind of like the step one. Step one, you have to make it alive. And now that it's alive, you have to start giving it um you give it personality. Like when I make poses, it's like I do not think about what I want them to do. I more think about like if I point the camera at them, what would they be doing? So, for example, I want to draw a girl. But if I just think about drawing a girl, I will just draw her eyes and then her eyelids. I mean, no, and then I will draw her eyelash and then I will draw her hair. And in my head, I'm like, oh, what should she wear? You know what? I want to draw her in a dress. So I'll draw her in a dress, and it becomes very bland because I'm just thinking about drawing her. I'm not thinking about capturing her. So when I change my mind, like when I change the way I push it, when I change the way I think, if I change the way I think, I can be like, I'll be like, oh, this is just. I think the mindset here is very different from the mindset of when I want to draw a girl. For example, I want to capture a girl posing. So this is her is looking at the camera and being pretty. This is her looking at the camera and feeling pretty. So when a girl is looking at the camera and feeling pretty, she's smiling, and then maybe she's holding her hair up like this, and then maybe the angle is from on top because she's caught off guard. Ta-da! Now she has a dress, and now your girl looks very more she looks like she's looking at the camera more. Ta-da! She's looking at the camera and she's posing for the camera rather than just a girl that, oh, I want to just draw a girl. So there you go, you've drawn a girl. But here you have captured a girl, like not captured, it's just like you've taken a photo of her through your artwork. Because but this doesn't always apply, this mindset doesn't always apply. Okay, I just use this mindset so that I can think about them more humanely, so that they're not like, so they're just not like characters on paper. They're characters that I am cherishing, characters that I'm like, that are like alive, that I'm just showing you guys. So this is the girl, and I'm showing you that she's alive and that she's posing for a picture, and she's wearing a dress and she's smiling and she feels beautiful in the picture. Ta-da! They make her blush too. Okay, and then you can just start designing. So I've done the pose, and I've made her look much more alive. And oh, I've applied the rules that I gave earlier. So if it's not obvious right now because it looks like I just drew it out of thin air, but I've applied the rules. So when I drew this, I'm thinking of a square, and I'm thinking of it like this. So even if I'm drawing flatly like this, I'm still trying to think of the 3D on top, or maybe here, like, because you're not fully looking at a flat face. When you draw someone, it's never a flat face, but you're never looking at a 3D person, like a 2D person. It's not always a 2D person, unless it's these. Even these, even if you draw stuff like these, it still will look 3D because it should still look 3D because like here the cheeks go, like the face is like like this, so it will look like this, or like this. She's looking down. See, like everything you make is going to be 3D. Okay, so wait, am I in a different layer? Hold on, let me draw this in a different layer so that we can compare the guideline and then the pose, the drawing beneath it. So the guideline for this would be like this, looking up like that, and then going down here. Ta-da! And then the neck. The neck is below, under the face, because the face is going in front. So on the side it looks like this. Ta-da! This is what it looks like from the side view. On front it looks like this. So the neck is below, and the chest is popping out. So these are the shoulders, and my basis for the chest thing is the collarbones. So if the collarbones are up here, the chest is like this. Like this. See? And it should cover the neck. It should be over the neck. But since if we do this, it will look a bit 2D. And if you draw it, you might get confused because, for example, if I draw over this right now, and maybe I'm not sure of what I'm looking at, I will draw the neck like this, and then I will draw the collarbones on top like this. So it might be weird, but it low-key still works. But compared to how I want to see it, it's not the same because it's too high up. It's too high up. So when I draw this, it will have a lower collarbone. So when I draw the 3D, like for stuff like this, I don't draw it as flat circles and things. You can do it as like shapes at first, but it shouldn't serve as your guide for like drawing the whole thing. So like, if we go back to this, the neck shape goes from this to an actual neck shape. So when I draw a guideline above it, the neck is drawn as like this, because the rest of the torso is taking charge. So when I teach perspective anatomy guidelines, it's different from drawing the anatomy like the guidelines for your drawing. So this is just drawing the guidelines so that you can fix the perspective and you know where things are and what things look like. But that's not how to draw the chest. When I draw the chest, it's more it has more shape, and it also depends on who I'm drawing. So if this is like a muscular person, maybe this is what it would look like. Or if I'm drawing like a skinny person, it will have a more not skinny, a lanky person. It will have a more like thin type of body like this. You get what I mean? So drawing the guideline for the perspective and for the pose is different from drawing the guideline for the drawing, because there's different body types and there's different arms. For example, this guy could be like muscular, or he could be very not thin. It's just like no muscles. Like it's just his arm. So it depends. So when you draw, after drawing this, you will have to draw the body as following the shape. You're following your perspective guideline by while also drawing the body. Like for example, the arm isn't just a cylindrical shape. The arm has many shapes. It can go like this, and then this is the elbow, and it can go like that. So when I draw guideline for the arm, it will be wobbly and like have different shapes. But I'm following the cylindrical I'm following the cylinder that I have in my head. You get what I mean? Am I making sense? Anyways, so after I drew the guideline, ta-da, I draw the body, ta-da, and then I draw the blue, ta-da. But I skip those processes because this is a pose that I've drawn so many times that I do not need the guideline. The only reason why I skip the process is because I've drawn this 100 times in my entire like span of drawing. So do not worry if you cannot draw it without guidelines yet, because you probably have not drawn it 100 times or practiced doing it 100 times. For example, when I draw like side profiles, I've drawn it 100 times because I love drawing side profiles. So I keep drawing it. So like when I go like this, I know where the ear goes, I know where the nose starts, where like the forehead starts, because I've done it 100 times. No, and it's not because I'm skilled, it's not because I'm more talented, it's not because I'm better, it's just because I've drawn it 100 times, and maybe even more than 100 times. So I just know how it's like muscle memory, and it's something that takes lots of practice and years. But I'm not telling you that you need lots of practice and years. I'm telling you can also do it with these hacks. So if you do this and then draw the body below it, draw it with the body that you want to give her. You don't have to follow the rules of a skinny arm. You don't have to follow the rules of her having a skinny arm. She could have more arm fat than most drawings that usually have, or she could have a flatter chest, or she could have a bigger chest. It doesn't really. In this one, you have lots of freedom on how you want to draw the body. Just make sure that you're following your guideline and you have like the awareness. So if the guideline says like this, then you draw the body like this. See, you're still following it. So if you look at it, you're still following a guideline. It's like molding clay. This is your clay before you're just molding it to become like more like a body type of shape. So it's like you're like, this is your finger and you're just like molding it into becoming a body. Okay, so I already explained how I make the poses more go from this to this. So I think I'm done. Oh wait, I don't think this is necessary at all, but you can also start by drawing the background. So if I drew this, and for example I make this into a we're seeing right now is this guy. So when you draw a person, your imagination might give you more options or might limit your. Anyways, if you draw a background, for example, you draw some trees like this, like just a simple background. Okay, this looks more like a garden. You will have, for example, you're struggling to think of a pose, and you're struggling to think of a pose. You can't think of anything. You can draw a background first, and I'm recommending this at an early stage because you will. I don't know. You will just like it. Like once you start drawing backgrounds, you won't ever stop, and you will enjoy drawing backgrounds, and then you will not even just drawing backgrounds. You can use references, like use as many references as you want when you draw backgrounds, because your mind cannot just think of this. Like even my mind cannot just think of backgrounds, like just randomly think of backgrounds. So anyway, you've drawn the background, you have a much more limited option, or like you have like you now feel like you have a team. So when you have a team, you can start thinking of a pose. So for example, if this is like if you were seeing like a rose garden, you will think of a person like holding a basket of rose maybe, or like she's like hugging a bouquet like this. So this is the she's holding a bouquet, ta-da, like this. And so now you have a pose. You have now a person holding a bouquet, and then she's like, I don't know, maybe you caught her crying because those are her favorite flowers and she had to trim them or something. I don't know. Ta-da. Oh, if you cannot, like for example, you just saw me do this out of thin air. If you cannot imagine what happened to this hand, like, or where, like how did the bouquet like clash, or where did the bouquet end and start? Like, are there gonna be stems here, or is it just like this? You can draw it from the front. So this is the person. She's holding a bouquet like this, and this is the bouquet. It goes like this, and the stem is here. So now if you look at it here, you won't be seeing the stem down here because the stem is over here. Like, the stem is popping out. Like, let's use yellow. You won't see the stem down here. You will see it over there. So you don't have to worry about drawing it because it's not in your field of view. What's in your field of view is this and this. So you will draw the hand going over here because this is in your field of view. This is in your field of view, and her body over here is in your field of view, and this is in your field of view. So you have to draw those. What else is in your field of view? Her hair. You can see her hair blowing the wind, You can see, like, here's the thing I notice about hair and why sometimes hair looks flat. People draw this and this and this, and they think that the hair that goes over here, like for example the hair that's not visible here, cannot be seen, so it's just like the front hair and this hair. But you can see it because sometimes the wind blows it and there's hair over there, and sometimes the wind can go much crazier and the hair can go over here. So the hairs, like this is the head, and there's like, imagine a bunch of sorts of hair, but instead of a bunch of like tiny hairs like this, think of them as like a clump of hair going here, clump of hair going there, clump of hair going here. So now you have a bit of hair anatomy going on. You have solved your hair issue. You can just start drawing. Ta-da! So I will follow this clump. I will follow this clump. I will follow this clump, and I will follow this strand that I've drawn. Keep going, and then you keep drawing, and then you keep drawing. Just drawing over your little guidelines. Then you draw her. She's crying. You draw her neck, and draw her shoulders like this. Ta-da! Did I just draw Kada? Like I'm drawing Kada. You know what? Let's just draw Kada. Her hair is down. Let's give her her headband, and then her clip over here, and then she's sad. Maybe she got rejected by a femboy. Okay, that's her fingers over there, and then boom. Ta-da! This is her sweater, purple sweater. So let's remove the guidelines, and oh wait, I have to draw the roses. I'm not gonna teach how to draw roses, nor am I gonna draw a bunch of roses. So let's remove that, and let's fix some of these. Ta-da! We have now drawn Kada, the weeping girl who trimmed her roses. Okay, that's all. I don't know what else to teach.